He says, I cannot believe the Giants took quarterback Daniel Jones. Blows my mind. Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget you got to win. Okay, either you have a history of winning and being that guy for your team or you don't. So he's saying Daniel Jones didn't win in college. He was 17 and 19. And the Giants took a big risk on drafting Daniel Jones, according to Baker Mayfield. So let me start with this. Did the Cleveland Browns not take a risk drafting a guy with a police video in college? A 5'11 and a half, two-time walk-on? Yes, Baker Mayfield won in college. That's because everybody wins at Oklahoma. Jason White on two bad knees won the Heisman. Josh Heupel won at Oklahoma. I think he won a national title. So you can argue that Cleveland took a big risk with Baker Mayfield. I got a police video. He comes from a program where every quarterback wins. They've had multiple guys in the NFL drafted that have been busts at quarterback. I would say this about Baker, though. Baker's made it very easy for me to evaluate him because what Baker is saying is there's no context to winning. Did you win, period? By the way, Tim Tebow was 35-6 in college. Colt McCoy was 45-8. Kellen Moore was 50-3. And A.J. McCarron was 36-4. You know who didn't win in college? Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff and Matt Ryan. They didn't win much in college. But again, Baker Mayfield said it's all about winning. There's no nuance needed, no context. I've said before, if Baker Mayfield succeeds in Cleveland, it will be more impressive than, let's say, Patrick Mahomes winning in Kansas City because Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid. That's a stable team. That's good ownership. Cleveland, not stable, not great ownership. So winning in Cleveland, because I believe there's nuance and context to winning. But Baker Mayfield does not. It is all about winning. So let's then just do it the Baker way. Let's just talk about wins. Baker Mayfield is 6-7 as an NFL quarterback. He's a loser. By the way, he's 1-5 against playoff teams. He's a loser because there's no context to anything. Matt Ryan played with Boston College teammates who don't go to the pros. Tim Tebow played with 37 NFL, but there's no context to it. Daniel Jones is a loser. I'm a winner, Baker Mayfield. Not to mention Daniel Jones was throwing to guys who don't get drafted by the CFL. But there's no context. It's just, I'm a winner, right, Baker, and everybody else is a loser. So let's go to Baker Mayfield's big wins last year in the NFL. 28-16 over Atlanta, missing 3 of their 4 defensive back starters, a 7-9 team. That was a big win for him. He did beat Cincinnati. Oh, they finished in 4th place. Starting quarterback got hurt during the game. He beat Carolina. Oh, Cam was hurt, and they won 1 game after Thanksgiving. Oh, he did beat Denver. They were 6-10. And then he beat Cincinnati again, starting Jeff Driscoll at quarterback. Those were the wins. No context, no nuance. Those are the wins, right? They won. Baker Mayfield has won 1 NFL game outside of Ohio. 1. See, because I believe winning has context. I think it's easier to win quarterbacking Oklahoma and Florida than it is like Jared Goff at Cal or Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech or Andrew Luck at Stanford. See, I think there's context to it. I do think winning in Cleveland with a GM and John Dorsey who was fired, Jimmy Haslam who's been chaotic, Freddie Kitchens a rookie head coach, and the youngest roster in the NFL, and some really dramatic players, OBJ, Sheldon Richardson, I think that would be very impressive. That would be if you had nuance and context to winning instead of just that guy didn't win in college, I won in college. Because you do realize, Baker, Patrick Mahomes' NFL record, he's a winner. You're a loser right now. But he has Andy Reid. Doesn't matter. Patrick's a winner. You're a loser. Because it's all about winning. There's no context to it. I would just like to remind everybody, 6-7 is Baker Mayfield's NFL record. 1-5, 1 win outside of Ohio. That's the winner for you. He is some winner. Let me shift to this. Jimmy Garoppolo had a 0-0 quarterback rating last night. He was not great. And so this morning, people are like, whoa, this Jimmy Garoppolo thing is not great for San Francisco. Okay, here's what I don't need with Jimmy Garoppolo. Small sample sizes. Because that's all I have with him. And last night, I got 11 snaps. You ever had tapas? He's the tapas of NFL quarterbacks. Small, shareable serving sizes that we all consume. I don't know what to make of last night. The average NFL team averages 23.5 points and about 5 points in the first quarter. San Francisco didn't have any. But you have to remember with Jimmy Garoppolo, he's coming off an ACL surgery. Tom Brady wasn't great the year he came off the surgery. He's played 10 games. He's 8-2. I think he's good. His offensive line last night looked overwhelmed with Bradley Chubb coming hard for Denver on the end. He's coming off an injury. The best receiver San Francisco has, George Kittle, the tight end, didn't play. The rest of the receivers are young and still learning the offense. The offensive line look overwhelmed. Vic Fangio's one of the top defensive guys in the NFL. He's now the head coach of Denver. I don't know what to make of it. Because with Jimmy Garoppolo, the last thing I need is more small sample sizes. And that is, again, what I got last night. 11 snaps. A, he's not going to lose his starting job to a backup, so I don't really care. And B, he's not a rookie. This is not Kyler Murray. Can he play at this level? Tom Brady's had bad first quarters in Super Bowls at the end of seasons with 2 weeks to prepare. Jimmy G off ACL, 11 snaps against a great pass rusher and a tremendous defensive coordinator without his best tight end. Young wide receivers learning as they go. He looked rusty. Teams are now doing joint practices in the NFL like that's a real thing. And we had the GM of the Chargers on last week who's doing a joint practice. And he said, I like it. I like the physicality, but it's not a game. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't played a game in a year. I don't know what I'm supposed to make of 11 snaps when his offensive line looked overwhelmed. His receivers are kids. His best tight end wasn't there. And I don't think they're showing you everything they have. It was another small sample size. I have 10 with the 49ers. He's 8-2 and looked really, really good. I'm going to go with that over the 11 snaps I saw last night. I just don't know what to make of it. You ever go to see a magician? One day I went and saw 2 magicians. I saw David Copperfield early with my son, and then we went and got dinner and watched Chris Angel late with my son. And 2 magicians in one day. And the trick, of course, with magicians is look over here as I'm doing stuff over here. It's optical illusions. They're trying to make you look there as they do something there. And I wonder, Antonio Brown, Raider wide receiver, has filed a new grievance over his helmet. And I'm just wondering, is it possible, and this theory isn't any crazier than Antonio Brown is this just all a cover because his feet aren't right from that cryo accident? Because the foot issue is embarrassing. The foot issue is dumb. The foot issue is self-inflicted. Antonio Brown can't blame anybody for the foot issue. It makes him look like a goofball. So if you create a second issue, the magician's trick, we're all paying attention to the grievance in the helmet, and nobody, if you've noticed in the media, is talking about the foot issue. Well, nobody's talking about it. That's embarrassing. That's like being a goofy kid. That's what a dope does. And Antonio Brown knows it. He posted it on like Instagram or Twitter, and people just crushed him. And so he suddenly has a helmet grievance, and therefore nobody's talking about the foot. I had his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, on yesterday, and I asked about the foot issue and if he's ready to play.
I think his feet are doing well. He's definitely getting there. I think it's a matter of time until he's fully cleared in that capacity. Okay. I would expect he'd be healthy by the end of the preseason.
Oh, so the foot issue's not solved. So his feet aren't 100% is what his agent's saying. This feels like, this feels like to me he's embarrassed about the feet, and so it's a helmet grievance. And, I like when NFL teams generally say, we're gathering more information, we'll get back to you, it always feels like they're lying. I think with the Raiders here, they're not lying. They are trying to gather more information. They can't figure out the helmet issue. And I'm just wondering if it's the old magician's trick. I think it's tough. The Raiders have a young roster. This is not a great look. He's not practicing with Derek Carr. The division's never been better at the top. I don't know if he's now tradable. Forget about the Hall of Fame stuff, which it will hurt him. They won't vote him in first time. Just the way the Hall of Fame voters are, can be very, very petty. But I think it makes John Gruden in the NFL. You never want to get cornered. You never want to get trapped. It's always next man up because people get hurt. So that's why New England always drafts a quarterback, even when Brady was in his prime. That's why the LA Rams drafted another running back this year. You don't want to. You want to be nimble. You don't want to be cornered. You don't want to be trapped. The Raiders kind of feel like now they're trapped, and I think they are confused because I think AB's pulling a magic trick on them. He doesn't want you to talk about the feet, so let's talk about the helmet. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.